Starting your own business can be daunting, but a rewarding process. While a great business plan is crucial for founders, financing is one of the most important elements a small business needs to succeed. If your small business needs capital but doesn't qualify for a traditional bank loan, there are several alternative financing methods and lenders that may meet your needs. Thanks for joining us today on TV and Business Daily. I am Chiwendi Osisiego, and today we shall be discussing on business financing opportunities for startups. So let's take a quick break. We'll be back shortly.
My name is Chiwendi Osisiego, presenter at Television Nigerian Business Daily. In a globalizing world, ours is to keep you engaged, informed, and educated on contemporary happenings in the business world. We therefore command a special audience of business-minded viewers who are eager to know more about business. I mean, your business. Why don't you take advantage of our special affordable offer to let the world know about your concepts, your goods, and of course, your services? You can call us on 080-3071-6959 or 070-3234-9054. You can also visit us at Television Nigerian in Guzapi, Abuja, and follow us on all the social media handles on Facebook, YouTube, and of course, on Twitter at Television Nigerian. Your business is our concern.
Thanks for joining us again, and in case you're just joining us, it's still TV and Business Daily. Like I said earlier, we shall be discussing on business financing opportunities for startups. My guest is here in the studio. He is the CEO, LTS Royal Limited, and also a business finance consultant. He is no other than Mr. Leke Olatari Olakweki. I hope I'm correct.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Chinwe. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. And how are you doing too?
Very good. Thank you.
How was the weekend?
Well, very great.
Yeah, and you look great, I must confess.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, now let's move forward. The business financing opportunities for startups now in Nigeria. What are the challenges startups are facing at the moment?
Today. Okay, there are many challenges that businesses face, especially startups, like you mentioned. But before I explain, the challenges which we all know about, I'd like to provide a reason why, a background as to why startups find it so difficult to raise capital earlier on. The statistics show that 90% of all startups fail within the first 5 years. Many of them fail within the first 1 year. For this reason, lenders are typically very skeptical of lending to startups. So now I can explain. Now you can see, why it's such a big challenge. You see, the way commercial banks are set up all over the world, whether you go to the US or you go to the UK and all of that, it's more difficult for a startup to get financing than for a business that is already well established. Why? Because of the high startup failure rate. So commercial banks have monies from you and me, depositors. We put our money in the bank. We hope that the bank will keep it for us, pay us some interest rates. And then the bank also playing their role of the intermediator, the financial intermediator, they lend money to the people who have a business. So because of the high failure rate of startups, it's very difficult for commercial banks to lend to startups. So obviously, capital is the first major issue. The second major issue that I would say is intellectual laziness. And why is that? Many young people, many new businesses, they think that the only problem with a business, with setting up a business, is the money. As a result of this, once they tie up the progress of their business to accessing finance, they fail to answer the few basic questions that any lender wants to see. From my travels around the world, across Nigeria, I have found out that the issue is not that there's no capital to lend. There's capital everywhere. There's capital from banks, from pension fund administrators, from hedge funds, from different lending sources. But the major challenge is that the business owners fail to show cause why the people with the money should hand them over the money. You understand? So when I talk about intellectual laziness, you have basic questions that must be answered. First of all, what products are you providing to the market? Is the market interested in your product? How much thought have you given to developing the product that you're trying to sell? How much thought have you given to market analysis? You know, how much thought have you given to, okay, so I'm going to need this. These are the resources that I need. Imagine going before a lender and the lender asks you few basic questions you cannot answer. If you cannot answer, I mean, clearly nobody's going to put money to back you up. You know, so intellectual laziness from entrepreneurs is another major reason. And then, of course, there are a plethora of other reasons, you know, high taxation. One that stands out is office space. You know, office space is one critical one for most startups, because most startups start from the home, but as soon as they begin to push out into the market, they need to get credibility. So when your client calls you and say, hey, I want to come visit you in the office, and you say, no, I don't have an office. You know, so that's one issue. So there are very many issues that plague startups, not just financing, but financing is a major part of it.
So how quick do you think startups pick up after failing, like probably for the first year, second year, and the third year? So do you think they pick up immediately?
Okay, the first thing you need to understand is startups are usually set up by first-time entrepreneurs. So when you think about that, first-time entrepreneurs have little experience about business. Maybe they left their job, they want to pursue their dream, which is fine. But in terms of picking up, it depends on a lot of factors. It depends on their own level of passion. It depends on the product they are bringing to market, the service they are providing. Is it a relevant solution that people need? If it's not something people need, no matter, even if you put $1 billion behind the business, it will fail. You know, so judging how quickly the startup can scale up or be successful is a determinant, or rather, it's determined by many things, many factors: the product, the market, your own thinking, you know, about setting up the structure for your business. Do you have the right management team in place? Do you have the capital behind you to make it work? So some startups can get cracking within 3 months. Some startups, they need 2 years to actually stabilize. So it's different from business to business, depending on the factors involved.
So which are the most common capital sources for startups?
For startups, there's a huge number of different options. Obviously, the first one is the entrepreneur's own funds, because before you can go to anyone to put money behind you, you need to you need to put your own money where you need to put your money where your mouth is. Okay, so you say, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur. That's great, but how much money have you put in the business yourself? Okay, so fine, you don't have money. That's cool, but how much time have you spent developing this business? How much time have you spent thinking through what you need to do to encourage somebody to put their money into the business? How have you created a structure? You don't have money, that's fine. You know, so the first thing is we want to know how much sweat equity that the entrepreneur has put in. So sweat equity is the first source for all businesses. If you don't put in sweat equity, don't even bother. It's a non-starter. Okay. The second source, you know, friends, family, you know, people around you who believe in you. You share with them, look, I have a dream, I have this plan to do this and that, and I just need this to do it. So, well, that's another source. The third option, you can look to joining a cooperative where you make small contributions, and then you can receive a loan before you have contributed the total amount of money, you know, that you actually need. So that's another source. Another source of funding, angel investors, people who don't know you. You've never met them before, but you got a referral to them, and they say, I like this idea, I would like to put my money in it. You know, then of course there's venture capital. Venture capital refers to a more established structure. They call them venture capitalists. They are more structured. They are looking for higher deals. I mean, larger deals. You know, typically in the range of $10 million or sometimes less than that. You know, so venture capital is another option. And of course, there are different other sources, private lenders, you know, P2P platforms, that's peer-to-peer, you know, platforms, business-to-business platforms where you can pitch your business and raise money for that. And then, of course, in very rare cases, you find bank loans. Many people in Nigeria think that bank loans should go to startups. Actually, it doesn't. And like I said before, it's not a strange thing. You know, in my early days as a banker, I used to be very upset when a businessman comes into the bank and then tries to get money and the bank says, no, it's against our policy. We can't do that. And I'm like, no, can't you see it's a good business? But then when I realized that the risk is greater for startups, I then said to myself, well, so obviously startups are like an endangered species. They need to really be exceptional. First of all, from the point of view of the fact that they themselves, they are destined to fail from the day they start. 9 out of every 10 will fail. So as a result, they are endangered from the first, from the word go. So the next question is, will a bank want to put money into a business that is likely to fail 9 times out of 10? Maybe not.
But all the tribal business now in Nigeria actually started from somewhere too.
Exactly, which is what I explained earlier. All the businesses that have been successful today, they had to start from the ideation. They created the idea. The entrepreneurs had to put in their own money. Okay. They had to put in, even if they didn't have money, they had to put in their own sweat. For example, you want to go to a bank to raise money and you don't have a business plan. Come on. I mean, who's going to, the bank is going to write it for you? Of course not. So all businesses have to start up, but there are different, for example, you may leave TVN someday after you have become the GM or something. You're a big shot and you want to start your own business. So you have a network of people who believe in you and they say, hey, look, I want to start this advertising agency. I need 20 million to start it. And so you are a startup. But because you have built your network of clients or friends, family, well-wishers, they believe in you, you can say to them, hey, look, bros, I need 1 million. Sorry, I need to raise 20 million. Can you raise me 1 million out of it? That's also a startup. But whoever is going to give you 1 million, they must see that this business, one, will succeed, or they just believe in you and they want to support your dream.
Okay, you're giving me a hint. Probably I'll call you one of these days. So, okay, let's move on to the accessing of loans you've talked about. How do you think startup can actually access loan from central bank or commercial banks?
Okay, first of all, like I've said twice already, startups should start with the opinion that it's going to be very difficult to raise money from banks. So I will advise any startup that before you try to raise money from a commercial bank, even from the CBN loans, and I'll explain how that works, you need to first of all ask yourself, do I really need to get a loan? Are there things I can accomplish without getting a loan? Right? Now, if there are things you can accomplish without getting a loan, why don't you accomplish those first? Most people get the impression that once you have money and you throw it at the business, it's suddenly going to get successful. That's so much not the truth. Because the first thing you need to do is get your acts together. Have a clear idea so that if they wake you up in the middle of the night, bros, what's your business about? You can jump up and say, look, this is what my business is about. So the first thing clearly they want to do is to get their planning right. You want to define your product, you want to define your market, you want to define your strategy, you want to define the staffing that you need, you want to define, your long-term prospects, and then you sit down and you put this into a plan, okay? A business plan. Now, somebody will say, oh, I can't pay someone to write a business plan for me. Look, that was in the old days. Today, to get 500,000, 1 million naira from the bank, you can develop your own business plan by yourself. The internet has made things so easy. Go online, type business plan templates. Working on it 4 to 6 weeks, you can have a standard business plan that any investor or lender would want to look at and say, oh, I'm interested in this business. So, of course, there are challenges involved in writing a business plan because you have to show your market analysis. You have to show your industry analysis. But these are issues that a well-driven entrepreneur can solve by himself. The key part they may not be able to solve by themselves are the financials, because you need to be able to show your financial projections, you need to be able to write your cash flow summary, etc., write your financial ratios. So someone who is not an accountant may say, oh, I can do that. That's fine. You can hire an accountant with 20K, 30K. You can get someone to write your financial summary. You understand?
What if money is not there?
Well, that's, part of being an entrepreneur is to be a salesman. So if you don't have it, you need to have the words in your mouth to get someone to give you that money.
Okay.
So you need to know first what you don't have. Oh, I don't have money. It's okay. We know you don't have money. But what do you have? You have a mouth. You have people, you have relationships. Okay, start from there. Oh, bros, I need 20,000. Oh, I need to pay this accountant to help me write my financial summary. Me, I'm doing the rest by myself so that everything will come together. So there are different creative ways that people can finance their business without waiting for the big money to come. So step by step, you can build your business plan. So now you have your business plan. What next? What are the options? Like I said to you, the average bank will not give you money. So perhaps the caveat to that, where a bank would give a startup money is where you as the entrepreneur, you're not a first-time entrepreneur. You already have a business running. Okay? You already have an account with the bank. You've already shown that, look, this is my account, I'm doing turnover of X amount of money. Oh, the bank say, okay, fine, yeah, this guy is a successful businessman. We want to put our money into his new venture. So technically, that's not a startup because of the management team. Okay? So now, if he decides, or rather, if it's that he's not started any business before, it's unlikely commercial banks will give you money. So the next real option is to look at the intervention funds, of which CBN has quite a number of them. There is the MSMEDF, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise Development Fund. Then the Bank of Industry also has a number of funds. There's the Agri Fund, there's the SME Fund, there's one there's the Dangote Fund, the 5 billion Dangote Fund. There are a few other funds that the Bank of Industry, makes available. There is also one which was specifically designed for coppers a few years ago. I don't know if it's still active now. It's called the YIEDP, where coppers can receive up to 3 million naira, and put their discharge certificate as the collateral. But in all of these cases, not one lending source will give you money without collateral. Virtually in all cases. So, for example, the YIEDP, which appears to be very interesting, attractive, still you will have to deposit your discharge certificate, which is a collateral. So collateral can be a number of things. It could be your car, it could be your house, it could be your gold. Like you ladies, some of you buy phones worth 500,000. Sorry, but you buy phones worth 500,000 naira, and then you go to someone to support your business, and you say, I don't have money to run my business, and the guy looks at you and says, Madam, that's iPhone 50 you have in front of you. I'm just kidding, of course. Yeah. But that's iPhone 11 in front of you. That phone costs how much? But you want me to give you 300,000, madam? Check him now. Madam, check him now. So all the kind of loans that you want to get from lenders will require a collateral. If you don't have the collateral, you need to get someone to provide it for you. Again, this is where your creativity comes in. You need to bring out your phone and make a list of all the people that can help you. And you need to then begin to say, okay, what is the incentive for this person to help me? Why should this person give me his house as a collateral? What incentive am I giving him? Am I giving him part of the business? Am I giving him some level of comfort that this business is so good that he can't fail? People don't do something for anything except people who just love you and who just say, look, I'm a firm supporter of this chick. I'll just do anything to support her. Yeah. So collateral is required. And collateral could also be a guarantee, depending on the lender. So it's all in there. But ultimately, we need to acknowledge, first of all, once the entrepreneur settles in his mind that, look, it's going to be difficult raising capital, then he needs to work extra hard to get access to these things. I'd like to provide free service for anyone who is interested. Perhaps you can put up my email at the end of the program. For anyone who needs business advice, you have a specific business, you want to raise money, or you don't know how to proceed, I can do that on a pro bono basis for anyone who's interested.
All right, no problem. Let's take a quick break then, and after the break, we'll continue with the discussion. So stay tuned. Thanks for joining us again. And in case you're just joining us, it's still TV and Business Daily. And we'll be discussing on business financing opportunities for startups. My guest is here in the studio is the CEO Airtel Royal Limited and also a business finance consultant, Mr. Leke Olaterio Olakweki. Okay, my next question is let's talk about these non-loan sources, such as the savings, the family support. What can you say on that? It's like expatiate more on that.
Okay. So regarding this, I'll split them into two. The money that belongs to you and the money that belongs to others. So I explained earlier, before you go to anyone, you need to have something in place. Even if it's the business plan, even if it's the idea, even if you need to show that you have either committed your own time or money into the venture. Now, again, there is a misconception that I can just go to my uncle and he must give me money for my business. Sorry, it's not automatic. You need to prove why someone needs to give you their 500,000. If you're not able to do that, sorry, you won't get the money. Another thing that first-time entrepreneurs get wrong is the issue of credibility, their trustworthiness. They don't check, they don't dot their I's, they don't cross their T's before going to Chinwe to ask for money. Now, what happens usually is that because they've not done their due diligence, they come to you and they say, auntie, please come and support my business. I need 500,000. Then you say, fine, take 500,000. The guy goes away. He spends half the money. He spends part of it buying a phone. He spends another part of it doing nonsense. And then 3 months after that, he comes back to you and says, auntie, please, can you give me another 500,000? And you look at him like, come on, do you think I'm dumb? You know, so very important in targeting non-loan sources is your credibility. If you don't have credibility, sorry, you will not get it. If you have a reputation for taking loans and not returning it, you have put yourself in very bad light. If you have a reputation for being a free spender, oh, the guy, he used to just spend money anyhow, sorry. Business finance works the same way as personal finance. If you cannot control your personal finance, it will spill over into your business because you start spending business money. So, and once you burn your bridges, you can build it back. Once you have destroyed the trust that people have, for you, it's very difficult. So, what would I advise anyone who is trying to raise money from non-banking sources? Well, you have different options. You have your friends, you have your family, you have cooperatives, you have angel investors, and nowadays in Nigeria, we're having quite a number of angel investors. You have investors, who are interested in, supporting your business. Not for you, but because of themselves. For example, you were talking about BDCs. I know a lot of BDCs in Nigeria don't actually have the money. They use the money of third parties. So once they struggle and get that license, they know that, dollar is going to come from CBN, or maybe 15,000 every, sometime ago it used to be 50,000. Some of them, the class A BDCs used to get up as much as $100,000. They know that if they sell $100,000 within so and so period, every week, money will enter now. So they then go out and take other people's money. Okay? So the first thing an individual who wants to consider these sources should do, pick up your phone. That's the first place to start. For marketers, it is said that the money is in the list. Until you have a list, you can't make the money. So pick up your phone and begin to carry a piece of paper or your diary. Begin to write out the names of people who you think are likely to help you. Right? Then, when you are done with all the people you've written out, then start again from the top and begin to rank them. Now, categorize them into A, B, and C. Okay? The most likely people that you think can give you the money you want, put them as A, put them as A, put them as A. The next category of people, these people, yeah, they might be interested, but put them as B. Then the third people, let's just put Tisha, you put them as C. Okay, now when you're done with this, you rearrange your list, writing your top, people up there first, and then B and then C. Next thing you need to do, you need to put your plan in place and do a summary. Now, in trying to raise money from people, you can't put a business plan in front of them. People who have that kind of money to give you don't have the time. So what you need to do is to distill your business plan into 2 pages. Better if you can do it in 1 page. The 1 page will show everything there is to know about your business. What is the need? Why do people need your business? What is the product you are trying to source? Who are your competitors? Why do you think you're going to succeed in this market? What is your operating strategy? Why do you think you will beat your competitor? Okay, then you look at the financial summary. This is how much we're going to invest. This is how much we're going to make in the first 1 year. This is how much money we're going to make in the second year, and all of that. Now, very importantly, some persons will try to shortcut by grabbing a business plan from the internet and claiming it's their own. Well, it will show. Because once you're trying to raise money from the people who have the money, they can see through you. When you have the passion, they know. When you know the business, they know. When you are trying to do what Lagos people call Oluwale, when you're trying to do Oluwale, they know. You know, so whoever is trying to raise money from non-banking sources they have to go that extra mile to convince the person. Because remember, you have only 1 shot at making a good impression. If you go the first time and the guy sees you as, yeah, this guy is not serious. You just think you can faff my money, eh? You're joking. Once you have set that impression, forget it. You have to wait maybe 1 or 2 years. You know, maybe the guy's mind would have changed about you, and then you go back with a better plan and then say, bros, I know I made a mistake the first time, but please, I have a good plan now, and I've actually worked on it. Now, another thing that entrepreneurs need to be willing to do is to hear the word no. Many entrepreneurs will make that list and call the first 2-3 people, maybe even call the first 10 people. And when they hear the word no, they're like, oh my God, why am I so unfortunate? Why? You know,
They want to give up.
You know, they want to give up. You have to be willing to hear the word no. You need to know that the more no's you hear, the nearer you get to your yes. So, when you hear the word no, you say check. When you hear another no, you say next. That as long as you keep going, somebody on that list will be interested in your business. Now, one other thing. What if you make a list of 50 people and you call all of them? You were trying to raise 1 million, but one person said, I can only do 500,000. Will you say, bros, I won't take your 500,000? Absolutely not. Because the guy who put 500,000 in your business today, it means he believes in you. It means that when he gets more money, he will be thinking about how he can support you better. So, never ever say no. The thing to do then is, you want to raise 1 million, you got 500,000. The thing to do is to say, okay, fine. Can we find out a way to increase the non-cash elements of this project? Are there things we can achieve, you know, by asking people to render services, things that don't need money? You know, is there a way we can achieve this thing without actually going all the way? Many times you find out that if you put on your thinking cap as an entrepreneur, it's very easy to solve these problems. Or it might also happen that, so you absolutely needed 1 million, but you couldn't raise it. But you got 500,000. So you go back to one of the people who rejected you earlier. You go back through the list and say, bros, thank you. You know, I was trying to raise 1 million, but you said no, that your financial situation cannot raise 1 million at this time. Please, I've been able to raise 500,000. Do you think you can help with 500,000? Or, what if I raise that remaining 500,000 from 5 sources? So now I have 500,000 from one source, then 100 from the other sources. A point of note, however, is that, first of all, you must absolutely need the money. If you don't absolutely need the money, don't go ask for it. Listen, there is always a time in a man's life that he will need help. Don't burn your opportunities for a future, you know, for a greater potential in the future by burning your opportunity today. If you don't need the money, don't ask for it. If you need 500, don't say you need 700. And then when you get the money, don't misspend it. Don't misuse it.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. So finally,
yes.
the final words.
Final words. Raising capital is difficult. raising capital for startups is difficult. But raising capital is also possible. With a few very deliberate steps, proper planning, passion from the entrepreneur, and a willingness to never say never, the startup can be successful. But it won't happen by chance. It will happen by deliberate, consistent action and focus.
All right, to the government.
To the government. Yeah. Okay, so the government in every part of the world, I said in the beginning that commercial banks do not lend. I wish you asked me this question earlier. The commercial banks do not lend to startups. Now, what the CBN has done, and BOI and Bank of Agric and all of that, what they've done is to try to put intervention funds in place. But unfortunately, I still see a problem with that. The government gives the commercial banks the money, or rather, hold on to the money, say, look, commercial banks, run the review of the business. Now, when we are ready to give the loans, we will now request the commercial bank to guarantee the loan. So these intervention funds are just like taking money from commercial banks. So the government has to look at other countries who have made a success in supporting startups, the US, Canada, Australia, Singapore. There's many countries to look at. What have they done? Maybe we can talk about this some other day. But the government has to do more in this regard in supporting startups, because SMEs are the backbone of every economy.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Liki Olastero, for coming on TV. And yeah, of a truth, it's difficult to raise capital for startup. It depends on the kind of individual that is trying to raise that capital. It's for you to be passionate. If you're not passionate about the business, I'm sorry to say, you cannot go anywhere. Yeah. All right, that's what you have for you today on TV and Business Daily. I'm Chiwende Ostisiago. And don't forget that you can follow us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, and of course on Twitter at Television Nigerian. Do have a wonderful day. Bye for now.